Hey my nikicharmz, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new, welcome. I am Nikki of Balloon by nikicharmz. So today's video, we'll be doing an actual balloon wall for a baby shower theme setup, like a boho bear. Part of it will have this beautiful shimmer wall on one side, and the other side will have a balloon wall. So this tutorial will be me showing you step by step how I create my own balloon wall. It's very beginner friendly because I'll be taking you step by step from prepping it and blowing up the balloons to connecting them into mini garlands and creating the wall. So if you're interested, continue to watch. Also, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, like, share, and subscribe to my channel as I am putting out videos weekly. It helps with the algorithm of me actually putting out videos like this. I know you want to see more of it. So I hope you guys enjoy the video and it's very informative. Now let's get into it. Okay, first things first. You'll need your handy dandy ear pump. I'm using both electric and manual. And you'll need a chopstick and of course balloons. I'll link all the materials used in this video in the description box below. So today's colors, I'm using custom colors of baby blue, nude, brown, and gold. For this wall, I'll be using 11-inch, 17-inch, and 5-inch balloons. First color up is our custom nude, which is gold stuffed in Tough Tex blush balloons. And I'm using my chopstick to slide the balloons into each other. Once your balloons are double stuffed, we can start blowing them up, and I am blowing up the 11-inch balloons. I'm releasing air to create the perfect circle, then crisscross and tie off the balloons. When tying off the balloon, you want to wrap around once and then tie off the inside balloon, which is the gold one, to make it easier on your fingers. You just created your first dupe, which are 2 balloons. So we continue this process of blowing up dupes until we have 4 pairs of them to create a cluster of 8 balloons altogether. Make sure to tie the necks closely together so when you create your cluster, they'll be snug together. And I like to add at least one 17-inch balloon inside my cluster. And this is my way of doing it. You could add the 17-inch balloons in later. Some of my clusters will be mixed with 17 inches and some of them will be all just 11-inch balloons. Now to create our cluster, I am intertwining 2 dupes, then I'm adding another pair of dupe and the last pair of dupes to create a cluster, which are 8 balloons altogether. You want to continue this process until you have about 26 clusters. Moving on to my custom baby blue, which is blue inside of white, and I'm just repeating the same step that I did for the custom nude color. And when blowing up the 17-inch balloon, don't blow up too big because you want to be able to connect it into your garland to create the wall. Remember when tying the necks to tie the inside to make it easier on your fingers. And with double stuffed balloons, it may take a little more strength to intertwine the clusters together since the elasticity is thicker. Next up is our custom brown, which is black inside of a brown balloon. I wanted a more mahogany color, so I added the black. See the beautiful mahogany color? And I added the black just so that it wouldn't be so opaque. It is Amazon balloon, so it's a little cheaper quality. And for this color, I only use 11-inch balloons to create my cluster. And for our final color is the gold balloons. This one was not double stuffed, it was just straight out the bag. Once all my clusters were created, I had 8 nudes, 7 baby blues, 5 browns, 4 golds, and I added 2 metallic blues in. And of course, me zoning out per usual. So for this step, I created mini garlands, which consist of 3 clusters together. And of course, clusters coming apart. It's usual with double stuffed balloons. So you got to make sure that you intertwine them tightly. So to create these mini garlands, we are tying the necks together. If you haven't seen my tutorial on how to tie necks together, I will link it right here for you. So you want to take each cluster and find the longest neck inside the cluster and tie the 2 necks together as you see me doing. You want to stretch out the neck and then tie. It makes it easier. With practice, you'll become perfect. And with this method, I swear you'll never look back at fishing line, nor 260s, even though you may need 260s at times. And voila, the necks are tied. And you just want to repeat that step to connect the other cluster to make it a garland of 3 clusters all together. And I'm just picking random colors to mix together, but not mixing the same color. Like I said, it does take practice, especially with the double stuffed balloons. It could be a little more challenging, but once you get the hang of it, it's like chef's kiss. And here goes our mini garland. See, it isn't always easy. And I repeated this step until I had about 6 sets of mini garlands, leaving about 8 loose clusters, which I eventually paired together. You'll see. Moving on to my custom stand, I just used my knot lamps and added PVC connectors to the top to create a frame, which I'll link in the description box below. So for this frame, you want to tape it down using tape so it does not come apart when you're connecting your wall. Also, you want to add weights to the bottom of your stand so it does not tip over. I later added it in, so you'll see. Now to connect our balloons to the frame, I'm using my extra clusters and I'm actually sliding the balloons on and crisscrossing just to make sure it's locked in place. Once it is, you want to push down and make sure it's snug. Moving on to my mini garland, I am sliding the balloons onto the pole and I am crisscrossing the balloon to make sure that it's locked in place, and I am pushing down to make sure it's snugged. So the balloon shouldn't be going anywhere. And you want to play around a little bit with the balloon to make sure that it's on secure and in its right place. See, it's snugged and doesn't have any spaces. That's what we want. And we continue this process. I cut one of the clusters off so it could fit on the frame properly, and I just left 2 clusters. Some of them you would have to cut a cluster off just so that the mini garland could fit on the frame correctly. See, it's nice and snugged, and you want to look back at your work just to make sure everything is fine before moving on. So the extra cluster I cut off, I added to the side. So I'm just intertwining and sliding it on the pole and locking it in, making sure it's secure. This is one of the clusters I actually paired together. You could actually just slide on a whole mini garland if you wanted to, but that's how it goes sometimes. And we just continue this process. Sometimes it could be a fight trying to connect the balloons to the pole. I guess the balloons won. Once we're done with the sides, we connect the clusters to the top of the frame. Just make sure to slide it closer to the sides of the frame so there's no gaps in between. I could have used the mini garland, but I think it's easier to do it one by one on the top. Once we slide it on the pole, make sure to interlock it so that it's secure. And this is the basic foundation for the frame. You could stop here and just add filler balloons, but this tutorial is about a balloon wall, so let's continue. So to fill in the middle of the wall, I'm just taking a 260 and lassoing it in and tying it into the cluster. And then we just take the other side of the 260 and connect it in by just wrapping it around the other cluster that's already in place. So it's kind of like how I would add in a filler balloon. You could either wrap it around with a 260. You could also do the necktie method if you like. See, I'm actually doing the necktie method to collect the 2 garlands together so we can start to form our wall. But if it's a hassle, you can still use the 260 and connect them together. But it looks more tight when you do it this way. See, this is the other option. I'm lassoing in the 260 balloon and connecting both garlands together to create the wall. See the difference between the necktie and the 260 method? The necktie looks more compact compared to the 260. And of course, it's more work. Moving on to the next garland. I'm intertwining my 260 so I can easily connect my garland. You can do it this way or you can do it column by column. The key to creating a balloon wall is making sure each garland is snug closely together so you do not have to add an extra fill of balloons if not needed. And we continue the process of connecting the clusters with the 260. You can do the necktie method, but it's a little more challenging being that it is double stuffed balloons. And the balloon wall tilted because I did not add the weights in the beginning, but I did add it in the end, so do not skip that step. And once all 4 columns are connected, you want to go in with your 260 and just make sure that each column is connected row by row and column by column, just so it can fill the balloon wall and you do not have to add an extra fill of balloons. And this is one method on how to create a balloon wall. I'll probably make another tutorial on how to do the other method. Now that my wall is connected, I'm just going in with my filler balloons and just adding them in where I see fit, where I see open spaces. And I'm just adding them in with 260 balloons like how I would do little clusters. And you can also shape the balloons just to make sure that they're in the right spots, that it can fill an open space. And I wouldn't stress about mini spaces that you see between, because we're going to fill them in with the 5-inch mini clusters. And you always want to step back and look at your work just to make sure that you're catching everything you need to catch. And at this point I added my weights because it was tilting over. I used my 5-pound weight plates. If you're doing something outside, you may need something heavier. And this is a basic balloon wall, but we're not done yet. We're gonna add in the filler balloons and all the extras needed. So I decided to add in some mini garlands and some mini filler balloons. So we just blow up the balloons the same way we would blow up the regular 11-inch balloons, but I'm using my manual pump. I think it goes faster this way. I pump about 2 pumps in each balloon and then I release air and tie them. So for this mini garland, I make quads, which are 4 balloons, and I intertwine them and I just continue to add in balloons, connecting it with the 260. And we create it the same way we would create a regular garland, which is lassoing it in, wrapping the 260 around the top balloon and then going around the previous balloon and then around the top balloon in a figure 8, once again to make sure that it's secure. And there you have it. And I made about 3 to 4 of these. Moving on to the custom color with the gold inside of blush. And I made my clusters based on how many different clusters I have in the wall. I like to do color blocking so I don't kind of mix the different colors together. So I base it on that. But you can make however many clusters you want, or you may not even want any. I did run out of 5-inch balloons, so I had to use 11-inch balloons and make them into mini clusters. To do so, you want to just add in some air, but make sure the balloon is still squishy enough. And when you underinflate, make sure to still tie the inside balloon. Once both balloons are blown up, you want to squeeze it in the middle. It does take a little practice, and then you want to twist it and wrap the neck around the middle of the balloon. It should stay in place. When the balloons look like 5-inch balloons, you want to take both of them and intertwine them together. And there you have your mini clusters. And I'm just adding my 260 to the clusters. So for this step, you basically want to go in with your filler balloons and cover the spaces you see in between, but you still want to place it in a way that it looks like part of the design and not out of place. Basically, don't fill too many clusters in one spot, if you get what I'm saying. So I'm taking my filler balloon and connecting it with a 260, wrapping it around the cluster and moving around accordingly to where I desire. That's how you add in your filler balloons. Like I said, I like to color block, so I match the same color 5-inch balloons with the 11-inch balloons. Also, this is the time to add in your big balloons, like your 17, 24, 36-inch balloons. I'm just using 17 inches and tying it in with the 260. And we just created another beautiful decor. And we still have to add in florals, as to why I still have a few spaces. And here's the end result. OMG, it is so beautiful. It is definitely giving the extraness that I love. The perfect layout for a boho baby shower. With the perfect centerpiece giving baby bear vibes. I love it. And that's a wrap for another video. I hope it was very fun and informative. And if so, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Comment down below. Tell me what you think of this beautiful backdrop and how you enjoyed creating with me. And if you created this look today, don't forget to tag me on my social media platforms at BalloonDNC. And until next time, be blessed, guys. Couldn't stay up too long.